Los Baños, Laguna. We envision a world where accurate biotech information empowers farmers and consumers to drive food security through innovation. Our mission is to feed the world with knowledge on biotechnology by supporting transformative technologies, fostering impactful partnerships, and facilitating the development of science-based policies toward food-secure communities all over the world. So this webinar is part of the webinar series in collaboration with the Philippine Agriculture and Fisheries Biotechnology Program on various topics about new and emerging biotechnologies in the global and Philippine context. We had the first webinar on gene editing, the second one on gene drive, and now novel foods. And this will be discussed in detail by our two speakers, but let me give you an introduction, a short introduction. Novel foods are those that had not been consumed to a significant degree by humans before 1997, when the first regulation on novel food came into force. Novel food can be newly developed, innovative food, food produced using new technologies and production processes, as well as food which is or has been traditionally eaten. So at this webinar, we will focus on novel foods developed using molecular production processes, such as lab-grown meat and other biomanufactured food products, such as quality-based cultured meat, rice with beef cells, in vitro meat, piggy soy by Mulex Science, lactoferrin by Turtle Tree Labs, and proculant and probiotic guava leaf-based beverages by UPLB Biotech. We can only accommodate two speakers. I know this is a very interesting topic, and there are a lot of novel foods coming out in the market. So in today's webinar, we will feature two experts who will expound on one of the biotechnology applications, which is the development of novel foods. They will also highlight the state and rationale of ongoing research in the field. And at the end of their presentations, we will have a Q&A portion, and we hope that we will have a lot of queries coming from you, our distinguished participants, registrants, and audience in one. And to clarify many things, because novel food is still a novel product present in the market. So the Q&A will be the venue for this discussion and clarification of things. So we hope that by the end of this 2-hour webinar, our participants, especially young and aspiring scientists, will have learned about the biotechnology application. You can share this knowledge with your peers and be inspired to embark on the biotechnology career track. We also invite you to visit our ISA website, isa.org, where you see many other resources on different biosciences and their applications. Actually, the recording of this webinar will be posted at the ISA website for those who wish to listen and to get more information on the topic. So with that, welcome to the webinar and happy learning, everyone.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Ola. Now, please allow me to introduce to you our first speaker for today. Director Fides Marciana Tambalo is a prolific and award-winning researcher, inventor, and currently the director of the National Institute of Molecular Biology and Biotechnology at the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Prior to being Biotech's director, she was also the assistant to the Vice Chancellor for Research and Extension from November 2020 to October 2023. She has been dedicating her research endeavors to harnessing microorganisms and biotechnological tools to develop quality technologies and techniques aimed at boosting the efficiency of key industries in the country. Through her patented technology, the natural microbial-based food colorant, Monascus Red, Director Tambalo promotes the use of safer, more affordable, locally developed alternatives to costly and conventional food industry inputs. To discuss the opportunities and challenges of novel foods for sustainable agriculture, here is a recorded presentation from Director Tambalo.
Good day to all participants and organizers of the webinar, Plate of the Future, Nutritious and Sustainable Novel Foods. As a Research Institute Director, Technology Developer, and Microbiologist here in the Philippines, I am pleased to present the topic, Exploring Novel Foods, Opportunities and Challenges for Sustainable Agriculture. My presentation will cover three main topics. I will first introduce novel foods and molecular food production, and then we'll move on to its beneficial effects or impacts on agriculture and sustainability. Lastly, the presentation will delve on the potential challenges to the adoption or use of this innovative group of food products. So what are novel foods? Novel foods, according to EFSA, is identified as foods that have no significant history of consumption or foods produced by a method that has not been previously been used. Novel foods are not only innovative foods resulting from the technological processes, but also traditional foods coming from third world countries. It specifies that these foods have been non-existent in the world market but are present in the traditional diets of certain countries. With this definition, common examples of novel foods are chia seeds, noni fruit juice, exotic fruits, herbs and nuts, some kinds of tea, leaves, and in some cases, insects and exotic animals. Novel foods may thus be described as food products or ingredients that have been newly created through innovative means. These are items produced using advanced technologies and production methods and foods that are traditionally consumed in regions outside of the local area. Shown here is the noni or Morinda citrifolia, sometimes known as Indian mulberry. It was authorized in the European Union in 2003 for use as a novel food ingredient in pasteurized fruit drinks. A subset of novel food include traditional foods such as algae. According to the European Algae Biomass Association, 29 algae species are already being used as food or food ingredients, while 6 microalgae species are considered as novel food as of 2024. A subset of novel food include traditional foods such as algae. According to the European Algae Biomass Association, 29 algae species are already being used as food or food ingredients, while 6 microalgae species are considered as novel food as of 2024. Macroalgae, such as seaweeds, are linked to health benefits such as lowering of blood pressure and preventing strokes. They are also a rich source of protein, minerals, and vitamins. Microalgae, on the other hand, are beneficial for human consumption because of their high protein content with balanced amino acids patterns, carotenoids, fatty acids, vitamins, polysaccharides, sterols, phycobilins, and other biologically active compounds. Another example of traditional food as novel food is insects. Entomophagy is the practice of eating insects. This is not new in several regions of the globe. Edible insects, parts of it or in its powder form, are being consumed as alternatives to pork and beef because of high protein content and high levels of vitamin B12, iron, zinc, fiber, essential amino acids, omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, and antioxidants. In the Philippines, several regions or provinces are known to traditionally consume insects. One reason why people eat insects in the Philippines is to reduce pests that attack food crops, particularly in rice fields, or as an alternative to expensive meat and other viands, especially during the severe economic recession in the 1980s. A few studies have also cited socio-demographic and educational background, accessibility to urban societies, and the open availability of certain resources as factors that influence some Filipinos' entomological practices. Moving on from insects, food can also be developed from its molecular components. Biotechnology, or the study and use of living organisms or its components to make commercial products, has been applied for the development of novel foods. Specifically, it can produce novel foods and apply relatively novel processes to produce or improve existing foods. These biotechnological processes include recombinant DNA or genetic modification and microbial fermentation, among others. Meanwhile, molecular farming turns ordinary plants and food into biofactories or bioreactors that can produce beneficial proteins, pharmaceuticals, or biochemicals. It uses waste or underutilized resources to produce high-value products or more desirable forms of food through the study of biochemistry and molecular biology of food composition. Molecular farming enables plants to express target molecules such as animal proteins, which allows for its production in the plant. This method offers greater options for consumer preferences. I think we will learn more about this from the next speaker. Another example of novel foods are plant-based milk alternatives. These come from grains, nuts, seeds, vegetables, and other plant proteins, which are also examples of novel foods. These milk alternatives benefit lactose intolerant people since they are also good sources of protein, calcium, and other nutrients. Another form is biomanufacturing. The product is cultivated meat, and this innovation aims to come up with more sustainable meat production. Soybean plants have also been genetically modified to include pig protein to replace a quarter of its beans' soluble protein, thus making this substitute more meat-like. Again, we will learn more about this from the next speaker. Now, please allow me to share with you the novel food products we developed at the University of the Philippines, Los Baños Biotech. As an R&D unit under UPLB, our Institute Biotech has developed several products that may be considered novel foods or inputs in novel food development and production. Our products include microbial enzymes such as cellulase, glucoamylase, lipase, alpha amylase, silanase, proteases, and pectinases. These enzymes are used to convert different molecules into other products that can be used by the food and beverage industry. Microbial rennet is a locally sourced from fungi that can be used as a substitute to commercial or imported rennet. Rennet is the key ingredient in solidifying milk for cheese production. Monascus red is a food colorant, and it is used as an alternative to synthetic petroleum-based colorants. It improves the appearance and taste of food, beverages, and food products. It also has nutritional functionality, such as high antioxidant activity, and contains cholesterol-lowering properties. Probiotic guava leaf-based beverages is a ready-to-drink fermented guava leaf tea and a probiotic guava leaf-based beverage ingredient in a versatile powder form containing Proculant, a trademark probiotic inoculant developed by biotech for guava leaf extract. While a proculant is a microbial starter culture for various probiotic functional foods, particularly dairy, plant-based non-dairy, fish, and meat products. To know more about these technologies that biotech developed, you may visit our official website, flash here at the bottom. Now, moving on to the effects of novel foods on agriculture and sustainability, what are positive environmental, economic, and food security outcomes that can be derived from the advancement and adoption of novel foods? How do novel foods impact agriculture and sustainability? Since novel foods come from non-conventional sources, adoption would mean less stress on land and water resources. Novel foods can also reduce greenhouse gas emissions, which come from traditional livestock farming, and lab-grown meat requires less land, water, and energy, and it produces fewer greenhouse gases. Likewise, there is also a clear opportunity for economic growth with molecular farming and cultivated meat industries. We have seen this in several high-income countries such as Israel, Singapore, Japan, and of course, the United States of America. The Observatory for Economic Complexity in 2022 notes that the Philippines exported 37 million US dollar worth of seaweed and other algae that are fit for human consumption. In 2023, the Philippines pili nut, considered a novel food, regained access to the European market. Our country produces 4,933 metric tons of pili that greatly benefits our farmers. With higher income levels needed to attain food security, clearly, novel foods can be seen as a possible solution to food insecurity, which hand in hand promotes sustainable agriculture and helps mitigate climate change by providing new sources of nutrition that are less dependent on traditional farming methods. Novel foods also offer targeted food options that may be high in protein, vitamins and minerals, and antioxidants. It can also cater to different or specific dietary needs like gluten-free, vegan, and vegetarian. Now, we all know that anything new or novel does not come without resistance. So here are some encountered and recognized challenges to the adoption of novel food products. The first challenge to novel foods is the complex regulatory policies and guidelines that differ among countries. The US and the EU, for example, have different recognitions in their regulations. Likewise, because of different beliefs and preferences, there are still people that oppose novel foods such as genetically modified foods, despite the fact that these foods have been well researched and established to be as safe as their conventional counterparts. Consumer acceptance is indeed a major challenge for the adoption of novel foods. The image at the bottom is a graphical abstract from study that identified potential drivers of acceptance or rejection of novel foods. And these include disgust, unfamiliarity, food neophobia, and lack of perceived naturalness, among others. And then there are the economic hurdles. Development and production of cultivated meat and other products of molecular farming, of course, entail costs. Upscaling from the laboratory to industrial scale can indeed be considered a challenge for novel foods. Likewise, the presence of novel food companies is limited in some regions. In Southeast Asia, for example, novel foods have only advanced in Singapore. To conclude this presentation, I would like to reiterate our policy recommendations to further advance novel foods in the Philippines. If we want to advance novel foods, we would first need to strengthen collaboration among the academe, government, and industry, and establish clear and science-based policies. Second is to foster shared understanding through effective information, education, and communication among stakeholders. And last but not the least is to facilitate a thriving ecosystem that provide incentive, support, and streamlined processes for researchers and technology transfer processes. We need to work together towards understanding how innovation can contribute to sustainable development in order to make novel food works. So that's it. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you as well to the organizers of this webinar, ISAA, and the Department of Agriculture Biotechnology Program for this opportunity. I hope everyone learned something from this presentation on novel foods. Let us work together towards innovation and sustainable development.
Thank you very much, Director Tambalo, for giving us an overview of the science and application of biotechnology to develop novel foods. Aside from Director Tambalo, we also have representatives from the UPLB Biotech team. Ms. Sofia Mercado is a University Extension Specialist at UPLB Biotech, where she leads the Institute's core project on information, education, and communication under the Technology Transfer and Business Development Program. We also have Mr. Arnold Abuyog, Development Management Officer 3 at UPLB Biotech, where he conducts research and extension projects in collaboration with the academe, local government units, industry players, and grassroots communities to promote biotech products and technologies. Ms. Mercado and Mr. Abuyog are also the co-authors of the policy brief titled The Potential of Novel Foods in Addressing Food Security in the Philippines, published by ISA Inc. last year. This policy brief is available for download on the ISA website for free. To all our viewers today, you may send your questions through the Zoom Q&A function, and the team from the UPLB Biotech will answer them later during the Q&A session. Again, thank you very much, Director Tambalo, for that presentation. Everyone, let us give them a virtual round of applause. Moving on to our next speaker, we have Dr. Amit Dingra. Dr. Dingra is a Chief Science Officer at Molex Science. He oversees the molecular farming platform that has been set up to express animal proteins in plants. He has over 25 years of experience in plant molecular biology, genomics, and biotechnology, with extensive experience in the genetic engineering of many important crops. In 2006, he started his independent academic career and continues to pursue research, mentor the next generation of scientists, and hold leadership positions in academia while participating in bringing agricultural technologies to the market. To discuss molecular farming, plant-based animal protein for all, please welcome Dr. Amit Dingra.
Well, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, wonderful. What a great presentation just before me, because I think that really outlined all the breadth and the depth of novel foods and molecular farming. This is a great point that was made previously, that molecular farming basically represents one aspect of a very broad range of things that are a part of novel foods. And I do want to apologize that my computer just crashed. So I have restarted it, but I should be able to join you in one more second with my slides. But I just wanted to comment a little bit on the the wonderful presentation previously. And as you heard several references to piggy soy, I will speak a little bit about molecular farming in general, and then give you an overview of what we have done in the production of piggy soy, actually. So just bear with me 1 second as I load the slides. Hopefully, you'll be able to hear me here shortly. 1 second. When we were doing the test earlier, everything went well, but now as soon as I plugged my computer, it restarted. So it's all right.
Recording in progress.
I'm sharing my slides right now with you, so please bear with me for a second. Okay. I hope you can all see my slides as well. So I'm a Chief Science Officer here, and I'm going to talk about molecular farming. And I know that the title of my presentation was a little bit different, but I really wanted to present a case that when we make proteins inside plants, animal-based proteins, we can really enhance the availability of protein as a nutrition compound for everyone. And just a little bit of background. I grew up in India in the 70s and the 80s when there was shortage of food. And as you may all know that during the FAO's, the World Food Day on October 16th, the FAO announced that we have not met the milestones required for both for hunger as well as nutrition. And I think in particular, I wanted to focus a little bit on nutrition because I grew up in times when we were trying to make enough calories because that was the need of the hour in the 70s and the 60s. All along Asia, Southeast Asia, the idea was let's make more calories. But today there's a need for nutrition as well. So in 2020, I received a call from the CEO and the founder of Molex Science, Mr. Gaston Palladini. He is a fourth generation producer of meat in Argentina, one of the largest ones. And he basically said that we really want to make sure that we create sustainable alternatives, not replace the meat industry, but have sustainable alternatives to produce protein. And would you be interested in joining us in this mission? And I growing up in a country where we were focused on a lot on calories, but I also saw my mother really treating malnutrition and women in particular. That was an inspiration for me to join this company and design some of the aspects. So I'm the chief science officer who oversees the molecular farming platform. Molecular farming is not new per se, it's plant biotechnology overall, where you engineer different foreign proteins into the plant. In this particular case, we looked at an animal protein called myoglobin, but I'll come to that shortly. So before I go in further, there's a big disclaimer that this is not a solicitation of any kind. This is only for information purposes. And primarily, Molex Science is already listed on NASDAQ. So everything I share is already publicly available, and that's all I can share with you. But just want to make sure that this is not a solicitation of any kind. We have a great team, and I think one of the things I've learned in life is that it's it's really what really sets apart a company. It is always the team. That really matters. And our CEO is right here ringing the bell at NASDAQ. And we have a great team right now, as you can see over here as well. We have a great team of people who are really working with us. Um, and just this is my cursor here. I don't know if I can work it out or not. Okay. So Gaston is the one who really came up with the idea. Along with him, we have Hank Hugenkamp, who's the chief product officer, and Martin Salinas, who is number three. He's hiding somewhere back there, right here. So these are the co-founders. I was the fourth person to join the team. And they reached out and said, we want to express animal proteins in soybean and peas, and it should be at least 5% TSP for it to viable. That was the sort of charge. And we get to work with several great colleagues. Jose is our CFO. He's right here. And then Catalina, who's the glue for everybody to put together. She's the chief of staff and really sustainability, who brings it together. And we also have a great powerhouse in David Heron. He's back here. He's the person who really manages all the regulatory affairs. And why I wanted to introduce the team first, because without this team, I would not be here. So what are the problems we are facing right now? Livestock production is really widely considered to be unsustainable because there are CO2 emission issues, of course, a lot of water consumption and water wastage. And water is one of the critical resources we need to save. We're using a lot of antibiotics and hormones right now to produce the cattle. In fact, utilizing post-chemical processing to really extract a lot of these proteins to put back in the food system. And food insecurity around the world. Accessibility to food is a challenge, and pests and diseases because of extremes of climate conditions. So there's like a perfect storm happening right now. So the solution that we came up with at Mulek is the following. The first part is that in traditional farming, we use soybean seeds, we grow crops, we feed the livestock, and then we make food. I mean, if we keep doing this, that's unsustainable. We're not talking about replacing this. There will be a place for making food like this always. But what Mulek has done is we expressed one of the key proteins in pig into soybean. And we were able to then grow crops and utilize the produce therefrom to directly utilize as an ingredient, which adds a sustainability factor to the aspect. So we engineered the myoglobin protein. That is the protein that really, when you take meat and cook it, it turns brown. It's the myoglobin protein. It also gives the meaty flavor when you consume it. So really wanted to bring this up, and I want to give credit to all the three of co-founders here who really wanted to first target this protein of all the proteins. So it's a cost-effective way to produce alternative proteins. As you can see, plants are bioreactors, natural bioreactors. You don't need infrastructure. We heard earlier about cultured meat. We heard about bioreactors in terms of putting like yeast fermentation reactors. As you can imagine, it requires electricity. It requires buildings. It requires a lot of cleanliness, hygiene, which then really escalates the cost, right? So in this particular case, plants can be really used as bioreactors where all they're using is light and whatever the existing fertilization or fertilizers, existing production platforms. So it's really fascinating that we can use that as a natural bioreactor to produce these proteins. The second part is, in this particular case, there is already a market where soybean is used as a source of vegetable protein to be added to meat products. So you can really utilize the soybean that comes out directly, or the piggy soy directly into the process where you don't need extra purification cost. Now tell me a place that does not grow soybean. And that is scalability. You know, when people talk about businesses, new concepts, they talk about scaling from one factory to the next. This approach of molecular farming is naturally tied up with global scaling without much effort, where we know that soybean is grown all around the world. The machinery exists, everything exists, the processing exists. All we are changing is at the front end or the back end, if you want to call it. We are introducing a high value meat producing soybean. And then throughout the harvest, throughout the processing, it can be really taken the same way. So we don't have to really change anything. That's the fascinating part. And if I want to grow soybean in the Philippines, we can cross our existing transgenic line with your elite variety that is grown there. And within 3, 4 years, we can really bring everything together. That's the fascinating power of this technology. So, in a nutshell, what is Moolec? Moolec is a science-based food ingredient company where we are focused on using molecular farming technology to really bring unique food ingredients to the people. So we have a whole suite of different products in the market already. We have meat replacements where non-GMO or just direct soybean is directly being utilized anyways as a meat replacement. That's what is commonly used. It's called the texturized vegetable protein. You may be familiar with that, TVP. So in certain sausages, you will always have meat, but you will also have texturized vegetable protein, which is the soybean product. Right now, we also have a nutritional oil, GLA. And also we have a chymosin, which is a cheese ingredient. Both of them are in scale up. In fact, the nutritional oil, we made our first shipment to a customer this fall, in 2024 fall. So this is already in the market. Obviously, we have USDA approvals for that. It is being utilized by a major company for producing food ingredients. And then currently in development, as you already know, we already have a supplement for a yeast-based ingredient supplement, which is iron rich. And then we have the piggy soy. And then also following in its footstep is the pea, which is the meat replacement products. So currently, just wanted to share with you, I'll share a little bit more details about piggy soy shortly here, but I just wanted to share with you briefly about, we already have the Valero soy, which is the texturized soy protein that is already in the market. It's being sold by Moolec. Glasso is the GLA, which is the gamma linoleic acid being produced in safflower. Gamma linoleic acid is present in nature in many crops at certain level, but it's in the safflower, GMO safflower, it's 50% more, which really enhances the economics. And then piggy soy and pea are the next ones that are coming in. We have some other science projects I told you about, chymosin as well as the supplement in the previous slide. So Moolec became the first molecular farming company to achieve USDA approval for plant-grown animal proteins, which are to be used for food. I just want to qualify there have been previously animal proteins have been produced in various crops, but this is especially for the ingredient market. That's the first part. So we got the APHIS approval last year. So what we started, this is a slide that really explains a lot of what we've done. So we took the sequence of the myoglobin protein from the porcine genome, and we developed transformation vectors. We utilize specific regulatory elements that are currently under patenting process, where we wanted to achieve a minimum of 5% total soluble protein. For the unversed, soybean has 3 primary fraction: protein, which can be up to 30 to 40%, starches, and oils. What we wanted to do was get at least 5% of that protein should be the meat protein. And then so we did both gene gun based and particle bombardment as well as agrobacterium mediated transformation. We initially had about 550 events. At T1, we selected about half of those events. And then in T2 generation, we came to about 140 events. So we created sort of a funnel where we were selecting for specific events, which would give us the following criteria. First of all, the genetics had to be stable. As several of you may know already, that when you use particle gun or agrobacterium, you can have different copy number insertion into the genome. So we were looking for specific lines that had stable transgene integration, but also stable in the sense not just stable at the time, but also through generations. We wanted to look at expression levels, but we also wanted to look at the plants behaving normally agronomically. So we had 24 events in T3 generation, and in the last recent T2, 3, 5 generations, we are now working with 10 selected individual lines or events. And these lines are basically selected based on expression level, copy number, and the inheritance over multiple generations. So our goal at T6 after field trials would be to really select the top line that produces enough amount. And you just notice that the protein, the soybean is pink in color. What had happened was while we were expecting a minimum of 5%, in this particular line, we had 26% TSP. So 30 to 40% of protein fraction that is naturally present in soil, of that, 26% was myoglobin, which is exciting because that really changes the economics of the project as well. So we had high yields that we achieved in one of the generation, one of the lines, we even got up to 29%. It all, obviously, as you all know, that gene expression is impacted by environment. So we are still looking for, anywhere from 20 to 30% expression levels. We have less water and carbon footprint. When we compare this to a traditional way of extracting the myoglobin to bring it in, we have received the USDA regulatory approval, and it's currently under patenting right now. So this is a very exciting milestone for us. We have a product that has consistently performed very well in terms of its yields, and we've been able to identify certain lines that are stable as well. So you must be wondering, how are you going to use this soybean? So please listen to me as I share with you the process. So currently, how the industry works, it's very important to know how it works. So a lot of the flavor houses, agribusiness companies, they're obviously feeding the pigs, or it could be cattle or lambs or anything, with a lot of these products. And from there, they're extracting meat flavorings, colors. As you know, color has become a big thing. Just recently, one of these colors, the red colors, was banned in the US as well. So there's a lot of chemicals being used, but in terms of in agri-based companies, they're providing a lot of, they're using meats, but they're using soy protein as a meat extender, a filler to produce a lot of sausages. So it's a very complex process, chemically intensive process. So when we start using piggy soy, which is a meat replacement, at least in these type of fillers, you can get the same iron, same flavor, color as meat. And the most important part is when you're cooking it, it provides the same flavor as well. So it will be basically utilized by food producers of sausages, burgers. So I just wanted to make sure you understand that already people are using soybean as a filler, but now they will have a value-added, nutritious, more flavorful product to add to the process as well. So that's very exciting. So Moolec is present in multiple locations. We are present in the US, as where we have a lot of our operations, and Argentina, all the back office production and cultivation. But our IP obviously covers the entire world. We have about 25 plus patents, and we already have some current sales and customers for Moolec Science. And I just also wanted to share with you, just as the year was ending, we also received a USDA approval for the first genetically modified pea ever. And this is also expressing a bovine myoglobin protein in it, in the seeds as well. So just as a summary, where we were and where we have come. Of course, this is the texturized soluble protein that we are, or the TVP that we already have. We got the USDA approval for gamma linoleic acid. And on the same side, we also got a very high level expressions of piggy soy. There's been capital raises. I think those are not so important here, but the point I'm trying to make here is we already have commercial contracts. P has been approved, and now we are waiting for further processes to get it to all the products to the market. So I just want to acknowledge my co-founders here who've really led this process. And at the end, I just wanted to thank all the organizers for giving me this opportunity to share our story. And moreover, most importantly, I really wanted to thank all the listeners, all the attendees, people who have tuned in. You are the future of biotechnology, especially people who are in their earlier stages of their career. And so thank you for listening to me, and I'm happy to answer any questions during the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dingra, for that very engaging and interesting presentation. Definitely, the presentation of our speakers has given us more knowledge about novel foods, particularly in molecular farming technology. Again, thank you very much, Dr. Dingra. Everyone, let us give him a virtual round of applause. So that concludes our presentations for today. We encourage everyone to post your questions through the Zoom Q&A function. For our Q&A session, we have the Executive Director of ISA Inc., Dr. Rodora Romero Aldemita, to moderate the discussion. Ma'am Ola, the floor is now yours.
Thank you so much, Janine. This is really a very interesting webinar. And I know that a lot of you are already thinking of questions to raise. And I see 3 questions here. But before that, I would like to acknowledge our audience. We are about 133 already and coming from different parts of the world. So we encourage you also to interact with us, all our participants. I'm very happy that our presentations now range from conventional biotechnology presented by the Biotech Philippines, and now we have the genetic engineered soy with a myoglobin gene from bovine. Can we have the other panelists? Can you spotlight us so that we can interact together? I don't see the other panelists. Okay, there you are. So my first question is, while waiting for the other questions, I'm going to ask the group from biotech, what is the status of commercializing the products that you have? I have been a member of the DA Biotech Program Office, and I follow all the products that you make, and some are commercialized. And so I'd like to know the acceptance and commercialization and how we are reaching the target farmers and also the food processors using our products. Thank you.
Hi, Mamola. Thank you very much for that question. Currently, we have already a plate full of successful commercialization right now. Since I took over as a director, we've been doing a lot of commercialization activities, and we've been aggressive about it. So hopefully in the next few months, we will see again commercialization of our products.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of acceptability, I guess as effect of the pandemic, people are now more open to the use of biotechnology products and services.
Okay.
Help us a lot.
Yes. I saw that one of the challenges listed at the end of your presentation was education and information dissemination.
Yes.
Do you have any forward-looking plans on how
Okay.
to proceed?
Yeah. So when I took over, one of the things that I first met is the group of our TTBDP group, which is in charge of the capacity building. And then this year again, among all the programs that we have, I capacitated them with some amount so that they will be more aggressive in terms of promoting biotechnology products and services all over the country. And we are also trying to look into more of leakages international. We've started it this first week of January. So hopefully we will be more aggressive and be visible.
Okay, wonderful. We also have featured biotech products at our Pinoy Biotech magazine. So I hope you can also contribute more so that our products are exposed and many people and globally also can learn about that. And with that question, I'd like to ask Dr. Dingra, because your products are basically products of genetic engineering, and I'm happy to learn. Yes, and I'm happy to learn that it is gaining ground, and you have already a lot of products. And what's the market size, or how is this? Yeah, the same question. How is this accepted? And is it already being used in processed foods? Yes.
Well, let me answer the first question first, the last question first. It's currently not being used, not the piggy soy,
Not
but
yet.
gamma linolenic acid is being utilized for pet food because that does not require FDA approval. That was the first question, or the last question. Now, the second part is that what's the market size? So, the total meat market in the world is about $1 trillion, and approximately two-thirds of that is processed meat market, which $750 million, which utilizes texturized vegetable protein in one form or another. So that's a very large market, and we haven't really calculated it to the exact decimal point, but if you even start supplementing some of the current soy texturized vegetable protein with piggy soy texturized vegetable protein, the more important part is it brings nutrition to people. It brings more satisfaction while eating, and we know from consumer studies, if you like something when you eat it, you want to try it again.
Yes.
It's a classical example with any kind of food that we consume. So that's the important part over here. And regarding piggy soy, it's not being utilized right now. We are doing field trials currently to generate information to apply for FDA approvals.
Yes, thank you. And in relation to that, we already know about Impossible Burger. Yes, it has
Yes.
been in the market, I think, for the last 4 years, and I have been ordering that whenever I am at the airport in the US or in Singapore.
Yes.
But how is this different from what you have?
Absolutely. So Impossible Burger utilizes a lot of only plant-based products, which are chemically modified to taste somewhat like meat proteins. And you may have also noticed that while during closer to the pandemic, the value of Impossible Burgers was very high, demand was very high. However, the previous comment and my understanding, this is my understanding only, but when the consumer experience, organoleptic experience is what really drives repurchase, it never really achieved the level of satisfaction that meat protein can directly provide you. So
Yeah.
people who know what meat tastes like, who have experienced we all knew it's not real meat. It's not. And frankly, this product is really, we're not trying to make Impossible Burgers. This could be an ingredient to improve the flavor and the palatability of an Impossible Burger. But the goals are very different. I know piggy soy often gets compared to Impossible Burger ingredients, but that's not the case here. We are basically trying to go into the traditional markets where soy TVP is already being utilized, and we are now providing an enhanced version of that. And it could be in meat-based sausages or non-meat-based sausages or patties.
Oh, okay. Yes, I understand that. Now let's look at some of the questions here at the Q&A
Sure.
box. So I'd like to encourage everyone to please load in your questions. We have 30 minutes. So the first one is from Armando Paque. Is goat milk considered as novel food? I don't think so. Any addition? Sophie? I put you on the spot.
As mentioned by Director Fides earlier, novel foods are those that are not yet available in the market. So we all know that goat milk can be bought, but probably some derivative products of goat milk, like some sweets from, I think we've read earlier about some sweets from India using goat milk. So I think it's considered a novel food.
Okay. Can you work on your audio? You have a very how do you, echo. The echo is so strong. Okay. The next question would be thank you, brilliant speakers. Does upscaling novel food production uses antibiotics and hormones? Yes. From Biota Group, Dr. Tambalo? Do they use
At the very beginning, there would be some that would look into it,
But I'm pretty sure that in the long run, this is something that could be addressed and would be eliminated
Okay.
because that would become very costly.
Yeah. Dr. Dingra, any addition?
Well, we the only place we use antibiotics is to create those first transgenic lines, selecting those events.
Mhm.
After that, it's just natural farming.
Yes.
So really scale up, as I mentioned in my presentation, a crop like soybean is grown everywhere. There is technology already available. Of course, you'll use your natural practices to grow the crop like all farmers do. So there is no change in that aspect. So if you're consuming a sausage with texturized vegetable protein, all now you will have a much more, uh, you're getting more for your value for the price you're paying because it will give you better flavor. And remember, it gives you better nutrition because of the iron in it. We expect it to be highly nutritious or more nutritious.
Mhm. Yeah, in relation to that, have you measured the iron content compared to, of course?
Yeah, we are working on all of those aspects right now. This is really a work in progress, and as we are also trying to, so a lot of these data came from the greenhouse part. Now we are doing field trials as well to really quantify all these aspects from field trial grown or field grown soybean as well. So that's where we are right now.
Okay. Yes, thank you so much. The next two questions are related. So, how is piggy soy accepted by the different stakeholders in the U.S. and by the Muslims, considering they prefer halal?
Sure, sure. I don't have any answer for the second one right now because we have really not taken it to the market.
Uh-huh.
And regarding the halal conversation, of course, I'm not a scholar to really make that decision. But if you were to think about it, it's all being produced in the plant.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one argument to make. But on the first side, as you know, in the US, uh, transgenic soybean has been used since early 1990s, and billions of dosages have been provided to animals. So really, the understanding is there is always going, as I think that was the comment made in the previous conversation, that whenever there is something new and novel, there is resistance. So there is the traditional resistance against GMO that is ongoing, but also I think we are realizing that if we are to maintain food security, if we are to maintain the nutritional access to nutrition to the masses, we
Mm-hmm.
cannot keep growing crops the way we used to. And in the extremes of climatic conditions, the demand with growing populations, we really need to come up with approaches that complement and supplement our current food supply.
Yes, that's the more important thing. Yeah. There's a question at the chat box from the ISA staff. Dr. Dingra, are you exploring the commercialization of piggy soy? Well, you have said that it'll be in the very near future or similar products internationally. If so, are you anticipating any regulatory challenges given that these products are plant-based but contain animal proteins? Some countries have distinct regulatory pathways for plants and animals, and this interaction could present complexities. Specifically, how are you planning to address potential regulatory hurdles related to this dual classification, meaning plant-based with animal proteins in different target markets?
Uh, that's a that's a regulatory question which is
Yes,
beyond me because I don't make those decisions. The
yes.
evaluators have to. So what is in our hand is
Mm,
to generate information, is to generate data, and present that as an evidence or argument to the regulators. Now, the question about global. So there are two schools of thought. One is the US based approach to GMO foods, and one is the European based,
okay.
where in the US, it's the product that is regulated, an end product, but
Mhm.
in Europe, it's the process that determines if something is GMO or not. So there are countries that follow the US approach, such as US and Brazil and Argentina, sorry. The idea would be that those are two markets we start with, and then we generate data to provide that this is safe, this is equivalent in nutrition, equivalent in behavior to your regular soybean.
Now, this question about dual classification, et cetera, we haven't really come across that. We are obviously that's the case, but there are a lot of examples where, for example, we have utilized bacterial genes in transforming a lot of the plants so far, which are already on the market, right? We have utilized that, and then we have utilized genes from other plants that have come in as well. So the question is a really a complex one, and I think these are good questions for us to discuss, but for the regulators to really look at the data and make a decision, an informed decision on that. So as I said earlier, what's in our hand right now? We've created the lines. We are now generating data to go to FDA. USDA has already approved for cultivation. So in the US, we can produce it. And similar, we feel like other countries that follow the USDA sort of norms, we should be able to produce piggy soy in other countries with approval, a prior approval from their regulatory agencies.
Yeah. And unfortunately, some of the countries who need food do not have the regulatory frameworks yet. So it's still a long way for that thing to happen.
Yeah.
Let's go to back to our biotech of Philippines. In the many products that you have, we are amazed that it's all concentrated in the. Is it all concentrated at Biotech UPLB, or do you have partners? Do you partners with regional what do you call regional agencies, DA, or I know that there is NIMBB in Diliman and other agencies. So partnership is what I'm looking for, so that these materials can be disseminated and used.
Currently, we are doing a lot of partnership with regional offices of the Department of Agriculture, ma'am, as well as other universities. So we also allow other universities to access some of our technologies and create their own applications. And then we just, share on the intellectual property.
Yeah, very good. So in the light of the intellectual property, so most of our industry takers, industry who would like to use your products, and what's the take of UPLB in terms of how do you share the intellectual property on that, or are they going to pay you some how do you call that?
Royalty.
Upfront fee?
Yes.
It all depends on the negotiation that will be done. And then it all depends on the status also of the technology that is being licensed by companies or individuals. So, but currently, biotech, as well as the whole UPLB, I guess so, is before they enter into commercialization or the licensing of the technologies, they have to see to it that it is IP protected.
IP protected. Very good. One more thing. When people would come to you, so what's the process of getting connection and identifying products that they can use? So to whom should our audience connect?
Usually what they do is to they check our website and they request for a meeting with us. They write to the director's office, and so we set a meeting with them, and we discuss some of the applications and some of the technicals, but not those that dealt with the intellectual property. After that, if they're still interested to go into the commercialization, then comes in the tech transfer office of UPLB that will take over for whatever agreements that will be done. But we still work side by side with the TTBDO office of the university for the commercialization. And then after that, they write a letter to the chancellor, a letter of intent, and then everything will be prepared for the licensing agreement. And then the legal office would come in also. So it's already more structured when it comes to commercialization as compared to years back.
Okay, that's wonderful to know. Okay, and then the last question here for the Philippines is, have you embarked on the use of modern biotech in novel food production? modern, like recombinant DNA and
Well, we here at UPLB we have our BT eggplant,
mhm.
and then the golden rice, of course, here in the Philippines. But at biotech, we are more on the classical at the moment. But we are also now doing a lot of upgrading in terms of the equipment for our molecular laboratory. So we're looking forward to entering into that
Yes, exciting times.
as
Thank
well.
you. And for Dr. Dingra again, how were you able to discern that you will use bovine genes? We
Yeah, I
yes.
think porcine or bovine genes. I think the decision was made based on how traditionally people eat their food. So soy and pork go together in most cultures where they eat pork, and bovine and peas go together where they eat that as well. So that's a very American way of doing these things. So that was the idea. But frankly, these are first products. If we wanted to switch any type of other protein, that's also possible. But I think that was kind of the guiding principle. We could have used any protein, frankly,
Mhm.
but that was the combination that was used because of what we wanted to align. I think this was decision made by our CEO. He wanted to align with what the cultural practices of consuming these things are. So I think that was the only reason. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one question for Sophie. Are there countries or regions that granted approvals for insect species as novel food? Novel food.
Yes, Ma'am Ola. We have in Southeast Asia, the Singapore Food Agency has approved 16 insect species last year. And also, the European Commission in 2023 approved 4 insect species as novel foods.
Mhm. Yeah, in our practice in the Philippines, I don't think it's accepted as yet. I haven't eaten insects, but I know that there are areas in the Philippines who do that in the north and
I came from the north. I eat a lot of beetles as well as locusts. They
oh,
taste great.
okay,
It's normal for us.
that's good to know. Thank you. Okay. Aside from pig soy products, Dr. Dingra, does your company offer any other products featuring different animals?
Well, I just told you the in P we have the bovine myoglobin right
Mhm,
now. So those are the products that are under production right now. So nothing more than that right now.
mhm.
So we have bovine and porcine proteins. Well, if we do things in the future, our goal right now is to make commercialize what we have produced already.
Okay, yes. And you embark on other things after they are commercialized because
Absolutely.
acceptance is a matter of years before it gets commercialized. Okay,
Yes.
yeah. One more question for the Philippines. Considering the technology nowadays, how will the traditional farmers be affected in the future if molecular farming become accepted commercially? So what are your thoughts on this? Will this be accepted by our traditional farmers if we have molecular farming, just like what Dr. Dingra is doing or conducting?
Okay. Shall I answer for the group? My two companions are too shy. But anyway, I believe that in the long run, it will be disruptive. Yes, it will be disruptive technology, and it's a matter of changing mindset, and it's a matter of educating our people a lot on the advantages of this. But if they still would like to go on their traditional way, I think there would still be a market for the traditional produced foods. But we have to take note that, in 2015, the population of the Philippines is around 138 million. And it means a lot of food is needed. And there must be a way for the government to address the sustainability of foods here in the Philippines sustainable production. So if we do not go into like novel foods and molecular farming, then I don't know how we're gonna be coping up with that kind of population soon.
Yeah, nice one. Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct.
May I also add an answer to this? I think it's the framing of the question in a way. People assume that just because we've developed a new product, it will replace the old. It will never happen that way. It will be a complement, and just like any other technology, there will be some farmers who will be quick to adopt new technologies, just like happens in everything.
Yeah.
And then there will be some who will continue to do what they do, and nobody's wrong in this thing. Nothing is incorrect. I think we need, as I mentioned earlier, we need to have a diverse portfolio of our food production to meet the needs. And I think everybody has the right to choose what they want to get, consume. But the
Yeah.
big part is that we have to produce alternatives so that we can create sustainable solutions. And then if that is the way to go forward, maybe it will become a majority of the total production. But I mean, there are parts where there is value for heirloom tomatoes, but there's also a part where people are commercially producing large volumes of newly bred tomatoes. And really, the purple tomato is becoming a big craze as well because
Yeah.
it really caters to nutrition and health. So I think we have to think a little bit differently in the sense that it's
Yeah.
not just about either or, right? We're not trying to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Uh, any other questions? Maybe we can have if Dr. Dingra has questions to Dr. Fides, and then likewise, vice versa.
Yes,
This is we are a panel, so we can ask each other questions.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Ladies first.
Okay.
Please
Yes.
go ahead, ma'am. Please go ahead, ma'am.
No, I would just like to ask, how is your experience with the USFDA when it comes to these novel products that your company developed?
We are actually accumulating the experience right now because we have not really achieved the approvals yet. And in fact, I don't directly interact with FDA. Our colleague, David Heron, who's on our team, is the one who's leading that process. But
David Kara?
sorry, David
David-
Heron. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
I showed his face in the previous, the first slide with the team slide. So he's in charge of that. And I think that's where I think, as all agencies, they are really meticulous about details. They want to get all the information. And right now, we're just in the process of producing a lot of the information that is required or essential for achieving or submitting an application for FDA approvals.
All right.
I hope that answers that question.
The reason why I ask this is we are now talking about novel products. So these are like the a piggy soy wherein you get a specific gene and put it in a plant. My experience with the local FDA is like uh, even at the level of the microbial product in itself, it's not even a GMO one, but they have a hard time sort of how to treat a microbial product. So I was just thinking how much more when it comes to the novel products that are produced through molecular farming.
Yeah.
And this is the
Yeah.
reason why I'm asking, how's the experience there? What did you do, to make things faster in achieving and getting an FDA acceptance?
Yeah, I don't know what is fast and what is slow because we're going through it for the first time.
Uh-huh.
So I think crops will take their own time to grow and collect the data. So I think we are just beholden to the timelines of the plant production and then preparing all the information that they require to
I think one
consider
of
our
the
request. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I think one of the advantages is that the novel foods in US is not treated differently as a group, but it is treated like the regular food, unlike in Europe.
Yeah,
And
I think it's a little bit different over here. The perception is different. Yes, absolutely.
thank you.
Yes.
So I have a question about one favorite topic. So in 1999, I was in Thailand when the first golden rice was released. And you mentioned earlier, and of course, with the International Rice Research Institute being in the Philippines, I am curious. And I asked this question because in 1999, the statistics said that in India alone, because of vitamin A deficiency, 90,000 infants die because of that. And golden rice was supposed to eradicate or at least address that issue. And I do not know the status because I don't follow rice anymore, but I'm curious, what is the status of golden rice? Has it reached the people?
I guess Ma'am Ola can answer that more broadly. But
Yeah,
it's a Supreme Court now that said no at the moment.
yeah. So I used to be with the inventor of golden rice, Dr. Peter Bayer, and we are really not happy at the moment on how things are going. This is the second court case that we have faced, so on golden rice, and we're still at a stalemate. We have already asked some reconsideration from the Supreme Court, so we're just waiting for the new decision. And
Okay.
we have done a lot of things already. Well, the Philippine Rice Research Institute and the International Rice Research Institute have joined hands in pursuing the matter, and UPLB as well. And so hopefully we can receive something more tangible just to respond to our request for reconsideration. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because
sad.
I was a PhD student in 1999 when it was released by Ingo Porteous in the International Rice Research Conference. And it was a hope as a graduate student I felt, and this is something I want to share with our colleagues who are our future colleagues who are in graduate school or becoming scientists in biotechnology. It is kind of interesting. I was so inspired that, okay, now we can save the lives of children who are dying because they cannot get access to uh, vitamins like that. And of course, there is also argument that vitamin A may not be bioavailable, but I think in the golden rice too, it's far more efficiently available as
Mhm.
well. So it is just as a graduate student's reflection, I'm just thinking back in time.
Yes, yes. You're correct. It's really it hurts because you know that the solution is there, but it's
Yes.
having a hard time to get to the problem. Yeah. Any other questions? We are moving fast. The time is moving fast, so we can entertain maybe around three more questions. If you have any other questions from the audience, anybody, you can raise your hands and we can allow you to talk. Anybody? None? Okay, I'm counting. Okay. We
I
have,
think there's one question I'm asking if there are novel research studies now being conducted in the Philippines, novel food.
yeah, I think I raised that one a while ago.
Okay.
Which one? Team, which one? Are there priorities in novel foods?
There's that one, Mamola. The one that Director Fide said.
Okay. So yes. Can you respond to that, ma'am? What are the
Yeah,
priorities?
it's a good field to go to for those researchers that would like to explore more on the novel foods. At biotech, what we are currently doing are novel ingredients that could be used to produce novel foods.
Okay. So
So I'm encouraging the researchers attending here, if you want to submit proposals for novel foods in funding agencies, then I'm encouraging you to do that.
yes. If we have students in the audience, Dr. Tambalo is inviting you to join her group and other research institutions who are working on novel foods. Any other questions?
There seems to be another question, especially for the Philippines, I believe. If molecular farming became accepted commercially, how will the traditional farmers be affected in the future? Especially in Philippines, they are saying. So,
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I responded to that,
okay, yeah. Yeah.
Dr. Tingra.
I also did that. There will be some farmers who will be willing to take on new technologies and
Right.
others who maybe not, and that's fine because we just need to have a broader portfolio. of products available.
Yeah, that's very good. It's a good answer. Okay, I think we're running out of time now. Or not really running out of time. We have a lot more time, but there are no more questions. So maybe here your final thoughts. We start with Dr. Tambalo, Sophie, and then maybe I would like to listen to Albert as well. Okay, your last words, and then we go for the next one.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Alimita, for inviting us and give us a chance to educate our Filipino people as well as our international audience regarding the potential of novel foods. So this is an exciting field currently on my side, like what Dr. Dingra said in US, the red color has been banned, and that has been one of the major research that I've been doing on how to produce microbial-based red colors. So again, I'm encouraging our researchers to look into possible doing some research on novel foods as well as novel food ingredients. Thank you so much.
Okay, let's hear from Sophie.
Thank you, Dr. Aldemita, ISA, and DA Biotech Program for this opportunity to share our policy brief on novel foods. And as Director Fides said, and what Dr. Dingra expressed as well, our technologies are options for development of our countries, of our communities. So we really encourage everyone to be updated and to be informed about these the science behind these innovations, including novel foods. So thank you.
Thank you, Sophie. Arnold? Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much again, Isa, for accommodating us from Biotech. UPLB as a research university, and we at the National Institute of Molecular Biology and Biotechnology is really at the a front runner in doing research and developing products and technologies on novel food products. And having worked previously in the field of community malnutrition and identifying as one of the leading sources of malnutrition is protein energy malnutrition, developing novel products rich in protein and other essential vitamins and minerals really can address our problems on malnutrition and food security. So we really are, it's really exciting to be working in this field and contributing to causes such as addressing societal problems such as malnutrition.
Good. Thank you. And Dr. Dingra?
First of all, thank you so much, Dr. Aldemita, for having me share some of the progress we are making. I just want to share as an individual, not as a scientist, not as a MULEC person, but I think as individuals in society, we have to look at what we can contribute with the skills that we've been given. And I feel like there is no solution that's a silver bullet. So if we are going to, as people before us created a foundation for us to have access to food, have access to nutrition, medicine, and a healthy living, I think it's our responsibility to do the same for the coming generation. So that's been my motivation and inspiration personally. And again, I'm very grateful that I got to connect and share some of the work we've been doing. I have the small opportunity to contribute like this. So thank you again for all of you. And really enjoyed learning so much about what is happening in the Philippines as well.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. And let's give our speakers a big round of applause, a virtual applause, everyone. And before we proceed to, okay, I would like to, yes, plug in. We have the policy brief on novel food. So it's now posted at the chat box. If you would like to check on it, it's written by our Filipino colleagues from biotech. And we really would like to learn more from novel foods, from the conventional to the recombinant DNA, the modern biotech. And if you have articles to share to let people know what's going on in this area, we have the biotech update. If you're already aware, you can just email us. And if you have even a 2-paragraph narrative on your research and then the link to the published material, then you can send it to us and we will publish it at our biotech update, which comes every Wednesday. Yesterday was a holiday, so we didn't have one. It's coming out today. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you very much, speakers. Let's now proceed with the Janine again. Please, Janine, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Ola, for moderating our Q&A session. So as we move forward, we encourage everyone to please complete the evaluation form to receive your certificate of participation. Scan the QR code flashed on your screens or go to the link to access the evaluation form. This post-webinar survey will help us improve our future events and webinars. Again, you need to complete the evaluation form to receive your certificates via email. Before we wrap up our today's webinar, we would like to extend our sincere gratitude and appreciation to our research speakers, Director Tambalo and Dr. Dingra, together with Ms. Mercado and Mr. Abuyog, who shared their expertise on novel foods. Your insights and knowledge were invaluable, and we truly appreciate your time and effort dedicated to make this webinar a success. We are truly honored to have you as our speakers, and we look forward to future opportunities to collaborate. To formally close our webinar, we have a message from the Director of DA Biotech Program Office, Dr. Paul Limson.
Good afternoon and a happy 2025 to all biotech enthusiasts. First of all, I would like to congratulate everyone who have participated in today's webinar. Thank you, Isa, for organizing this valuable opportunity. Conducting this kind of webinar is always of crucial importance as it provides a platform for knowledge sharing and fostering collaboration across the biotech industry. In recent years, we have witnessed significant changes in how we approach food production and consumption due to the pressing need to tackle global challenges like climate change, food insecurity, and population growth. Given these issues, the demand for innovative and sustainable solutions in agriculture has never been greater. Today's discussion have truly highlighted the significant progress being made in our field. Biotech advancements have emerged as a crucial component, promising various avenues from enhancing crops' resistance to pests and diseases to boosting nutritional content and enabling more sustainable farming practices. Biotech has been a critical force in addressing some of the world's most urgent challenges, and such innovations have positively impacted our agriculture and food production. Nutritious and sustainable food options provide more than just sustenance. They empower individuals by enhancing health and vitality while safeguarding our environment for future generations. Incorporating biotechnology into agriculture is helping create a healthier and more sustainable future. We saw this in the topics presented by Director Fides Tambalo of UPLB Biotech and Dr. Amit Dingra of Texas A&M University, which demonstrate the collective commitment of researchers, scientists, industry leaders, and policymakers to harness the power of biotechnology for the betterment of society. So, thank you for imparting your knowledge. I hope that we have learned a lot from their insights and that these discussions inspire us to think beyond traditional methods, embracing innovation as a pathway to overcoming current and future challenges. With this, we at the DA Biotech Program Office would like to once again thank all of you and look forward to our next opportunity to explore these exciting advancements together. Together, Let's take these insights forward and continue to build a better future for everyone.
Once again, thank you very much for joining us today. We hope you learned a lot from the presentations of our speakers. Thank you, everyone, and have a great lunch.
Before we end, I would like to invite again everyone. We have another webinar coming up on, this is a hybrid one, which is going to be in on February 13. February 13, it's the 8th International Livestock Biotechnology Symposium. This is going to be a hybrid, and we are going to also, ISA will also be involved in this webinar. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Dingra and Dr. Tambalo and the team.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. We can wait for the other response.